You're buckled in, the door's shut, and the plane starts to roll out. That's when the hunger creeps in. The kind of hunger that makes that $10 airline hummus suddenly seem like a bargain. You look around. The guy in seat 19C is digging into a Greek yogurt parfait, while row 22 has a full-on charcuterie board. Meanwhile, you're devouring those tiny pretzels like it's your last meal. You know, it's funny. Whenever we mention packing your own food in our videos, someone always comments, "Wait, doesn't the TSA ban food on planes?" That's a total myth. And it's a myth the airlines love because it keeps you buying their overpriced snacks. The truth is, you can bring a lot of food through security, especially on domestic flights. You just have to know what gets a pass from the scanner and what will get you pulled aside for a check. So let's clear this up. We're about to dive into the TSA snack tips that airlines hope you never learn. Master this and that expensive sandwich at Gate B19? You can forget about it. This is where most people get tripped up. They just assume the TSA bans all food, so they don't even bother trying to bring their own. But the truth is, the TSA doesn't care what you eat. They only care about how it behaves inside a scanner. If your food is solid, like granola bars, trail mix, a homemade sandwich, or even a Big Mac you bought in the terminal, you're good to go. You can walk right through security with no drama, but the moment that food can be poured, squeezed, smeared, or sloshed, that's when the 3.4-ounce liquid rule comes into play. Think of things like yogurt, peanut butter, hummus, guacamole, or salad dressing. The TSA calls these spreadables, and yes, they will flag your fancy apricot jam as if it's contraband. So, technically, you can bring that tiny cup of ranch dressing, as long as it's under 3.4 ounces, and packed in a quart-sized bag with your toothpaste. But do you really want your dip sharing a bag with your deodorant? Probably not. And this is exactly why most people just give up. The rules seem confusing, so they just wing it and end up with no snacks once they're past security. But as soon as you understand how the TSA defines food, you can pack smarter and eat much better. In just a moment, we'll show you how to get around those liquid rules completely. Because there's one frozen trick that changes everything. There's a little-known TSA rule that airlines will never tell you about because it would completely ruin their $8 smoothie business. Here's the secret. If a food item is completely frozen solid when it goes through screening, the TSA does not consider it a liquid. That's right. That Greek yogurt, that acai bowl, acai. That mini smoothie you blended at home, if it's frozen solid, you can bring it through security just like it's a pair of socks. This one simple trick unlocks a whole new universe of snacks. All you have to do is freeze individual portions the night before. Things like yogurt cups, protein smoothies, or even mashed avocado. Then just toss them into a soft cooler with a small frozen ice pack. Once you're through security, just let it all thaw out naturally. By the time you're in the air, you'll have a chilled homemade protein-packed snack that didn't cost you $12 at the terminal. Here's a pro tip. The TSA will only allow your ice pack if it's also frozen solid. If it's slushy or even slightly melted, they'll probably make you throw it away. But in the worst case scenario, you only lose a little ice, not your entire snack plan. Keeping your snacks cold on a flight sounds easy enough until the TSA spots your ice pack and sends it straight to the trash can. This happens because most gel packs are considered liquids as soon as they start to soften, even just a little bit. But there's a smarter way to handle this. Just freeze a regular bottle of water. As long as it's completely solid when you go through security, the TSA will let it pass. And here's the best part. Just place that frozen bottle right inside your snack bag. It acts as a homemade ice pack, keeping everything cold while you wait in line. And once it melts, you have a refreshing drink for the flight. This method works best with a basic plastic bottle, frozen the night before and packed upright in your carry-on bag. The only thing to watch out for is if the bottle starts to thaw on your way to the airport. If it does, you might be asked to throw it out. But most of the time, it makes it through without any problems. And once you're on the plane, having cold, fresh snacks instead of the overpriced terminal options is a simple change that makes traveling with real food so much easier. One of the easiest ways to have a hot, satisfying meal on a flight without breaking any TSA rules is to bring everything except the water. Dry foods that just need water to be prepared are completely allowed through security. Think of things like instant oatmeal packets, cup noodles, powdered soups, or protein shake mixes. They're lightweight, compact, and get a total pass at the security checkpoint. Once you're past security, water is easy to find. Most terminals have bottle refill stations, and almost any cafe will give you a cup of hot water if you just ask politely. On the plane, you can also ask the flight attendants for hot water. They'll usually bring it during the drink service if you ask them early on. And if you're packing something that needs to stay hot, a wide-mouth thermos makes a huge difference. You can mix your oatmeal, stir up an instant soup, or make a warm protein drink, all without making a mess or needing a bunch of accessories on your tray table. It's a meal that's cheap, comforting, and made exactly how you like it. No mystery ingredients, and no plastic-tasting food. Just something warm and familiar, even when you're at cruising altitude. It might sound surprising, but yes, you can bring a full homemade hot meal right through TSA security. There are no gimmicks, you just have to pack it correctly. Fitness enthusiasts and people who meal prep do this all the time. Take Stan Efferding, the former Mr. Olympia, for example. He swears by his classic combination: ground beef, rice, and potatoes, all sealed in insulated thermoses. He walks right past security, eats a clean meal at 30,000 feet, and completely avoids the airline food bill. The trick is to stick with solid foods packed in leak-proof containers that hold heat. Avoid anything that's too liquidy, so no gravy, soup, or sauces that might splash around, and you'll be all set. TSA agents, they rarely even bat an eye. This is about more than just nutrition. It's about skipping the expensive food court, avoiding that strange dry chicken in a plastic container, and enjoying food you actually want to eat. The only catch? If you forget a fork, you will definitely regret it. But we'll solve that problem in the next tip. If you want something hot, hearty, and TSA-proof, scrambled eggs might just be your best friend. Not the rubbery kind you get at airport diners, but your own homemade egg scramble, packed with whatever you have in the fridge. A handful of shredded chicken, some leftover roasted veggies, a sprinkle of cheese. Just toss it all in a pan, season it how you like, and cook it until it's just set. Then, put it into a thermos. Eggs count as a solid food, so the TSA won't even bat an eye. And when they're packed hot in an insulated container, they'll stay warm for hours, ready to go whenever you are, whether it's during a layover or mid-flight when the pretzels just aren't enough. This kind of meal doesn't just keep you full, it feels like a little piece of home right there in your economy seat. And on a long day of travel, that comfort counts for a lot. Those airport snack boxes try to act all gourmet until you open one up and find 3 sad crackers, a couple of tired cheese cubes, and a $12 hit to your wallet. You can do much better than that. Grab a solid lunch container with dividers or just reuse a takeout tray. Then load it up with TSA-friendly finger foods: crispy chickpeas, dried mango strips, roasted almonds, sharp cheddar slices, and maybe a square of dark chocolate for dessert. Stick to dry, compact items that are easy to eat with no mess. Skip the sauces and dips, anything that could spill mid-flight, and just stick to flavorful solids. Flying with kids? Make them mini versions with apple slices, crackers, and a cookie. It's like a quiet toy they can eat. This isn't about skipping lunch. It's about having something real while other people are struggling with the plastic wrap on some questionable snack box. Snack trays are great for a quick bite, but when you need a proper meal, bento boxes are the real stars of the show. They're efficient, they pack small, and they are totally TSA friendly. If you load one up the right way, you've got a full onboard feast without the mess, the crumbs, or that expensive food court detour. Go for things like grilled chicken slices, rice balls, roasted sweet potatoes, steamed broccoli, or tofu cubes. You can also throw in a mini sandwich or some fruit wedges for variety. Just stick to solids and you're all set. Everything stays sorted in its own compartment, so you won't be digging around hoping your boiled egg hasn't destroyed your headphones. If you're craving sauce, just portion it out in a small leak-proof container or freeze it overnight so it can thaw during the flight. The TSA is fine with it as long as it's under 3.4 ounces or frozen solid at screening. Airlines are counting on you to buy their bland pasta box. But when you show up with your own balanced meal, that $14 wrap suddenly looks pretty lame. One small thing can ruin a great in-flight meal faster than turbulence. You pack the food, but you forgot the utensils to eat it. It happens way too often. You have a thermos full of scrambled eggs or a bento box loaded with roasted veggies, and you're stuck trying to eat it with a coffee stirrer. The fix is simple. Get a basic travel utensil kit, or just throw in a plastic fork, spoon, or even a butter knife from a takeout order. Yes, the TSA is fine with utensils in your carry-on, as long as there are no sharp metal knives. If you're unsure, a plastic knife for spreading hummus or cutting soft fruit is totally fine. The TSA won't flinch. For a better option, go for reusable kits made of silicone, bamboo, or light plastic. They're tougher, stay clean, and are no fuss. It weighs almost nothing, but when you're at 35,000 feet without a fork, you'll be glad you have it. Here's one of the simplest, smartest moves you can make. Pack an empty jar. Not a heavy glass one, but a lightweight plastic jar with a screw-on lid or a snap-lock top. The TSA doesn't care if it's empty, and once you're past security, that jar becomes your personal snack station. You can pour a yogurt cup into it, grab a fruit cup from the terminal, or layer in some guacamole with chips. Or you can get fancy and add granola to a store-bought smoothie to make your own in-flight parfait. Everything stays neat, nothing gets squished, and you don't have to juggle a pile of wrappers mid-flight. Plus, a sealed jar keeps crumbs contained and saves your carry-on from sticky accidents. And when you're done, just rinse it out and reuse it on the trip home. It's small, it's TSA-proof, and it makes whatever you're eating feel much more put together. You've packed your snacks carefully, crackers, granola bars, maybe a sandwich cut in half. But by the time you reach cruising altitude, they've turned into a pile of sad crumbs at the bottom of your bag. The fix for this is to reuse an empty Pringles can or a clean protein powder tube. These containers are lightweight, rigid, and surprisingly perfect for protecting fragile snacks. You can stack rice cakes, wrap up a sandwich, or slide in a few homemade granola bars. Everything will stay intact no matter how chaotic your bag gets. And since it's all dry, solid food, the TSA won't give it a second glance. This works especially well for snacks you make at home, things that would never survive in a soft lunchbox. So, while the person next to you is brushing pretzel dust off their pants, you're calmly enjoying your fully intact snack like you've done this 100 times. Who says you need a first-class ticket to enjoy a fancy snack spread? With the right ingredients, you can build your own mini charcuterie board right there on your tray table. The secret is to choose gourmet-style items that don't need refrigeration and can pass through TSA security without any issues. Think of things like aged cheddar, Gouda, or Parmesan, cheeses that hold up well at room temperature. Add a few slices of vacuum-sealed salami or prosciutto, a handful of almonds, dried figs, and maybe some artisan crackers. It's all solid food. It's all allowed. And none of it came from a sad plastic-wrapped snack box. Just pack everything neatly in a pouch or a small lunch container. Once you're on board, lay it all out, take your time, and suddenly that cramped middle seat feels a little more civilized. It's the kind of move that turns heads. Not because it's over the top, but because it's the one thing airlines don't expect. A passenger who came prepared and made economy feel a little luxurious. When space is tight and TSA rules are strict, dry snacks are your low-key superpower. They're light, mess-free, and nearly impossible to mess up. You have endless options: crispy chickpeas, dried mango, banana chips, beetroot crisps, roasted edamame, freeze-dried cheese, basically anything that doesn't require refrigeration or cause a scene in your bag. And because they're technically dry goods, they slide right through security without a second glance. There are no measurements to worry about, no quart-sized bag drama, and no melting ice packs. It's just food that waits patiently until you're ready for it. They're also ideal for when the flight gets bumpy. There are no spills, no drips, and no balancing act required. You can eat them one-handed without needing to rearrange your entire tray table. Whether you make your own at home or grab a few favorites from the store, dry snacks are the kind of backup plan that never lets you down and makes flying feel a little less like survival mode. Nut butters are the most valuable player of in-flight snacking. They're high in protein, easy to pair with other foods, and surprisingly filling. But there's a catch. A standard jar of peanut butter is seen as a liquid by the TSA. That means it either has to go in your quart-sized bag or straight into the trash. The workaround is to use travel-size squeeze packs. Single-serving nut butters, almond, peanut, cashew, or sunflower are widely available, TSA compliant, and incredibly convenient. You can squeeze them straight into your mouth, use them for dipping apple slices, spread them on crackers, or mix them into dry oatmeal after you board. They don't need refrigeration, they won't make a mess if they're packed properly, and they're small enough to stash in a side pocket of your bag. Just one word of caution: be mindful of food allergies. Peanut and egg sensitivities are more common than you might think, and even opening a packet too close to someone who's allergic can be dangerous. If you're flying with nut-based snacks, it's a good idea to wait until you're in the air and check your surroundings before opening anything with a strong smell. A little caution can go a long way, especially when you're sharing a cabin at 35,000 feet. Plastic zip bags are fine, until they tear, leak, or collapse under pressure. And when that happens, you're the person cleaning crushed crackers out of your backpack with a napkin from the drink cart. Reusable silicone bags fix all of that. They're flexible, they seal tightly, and they hold their shape even when squeezed into the tightest corners of your carry-on. The TSA has no issue with them, and they're perfect for holding sliced fruit, cubes of cheese, veggie sticks, trail mix, or even small baked goods. They also cut down on waste. Instead of tossing a handful of crumpled baggies every trip, you just rinse and reuse. It's better for your snacks, better for your bag, and a lot better for the planet. It's a small change, but once you make the switch, you won't go back. Airlines love to act strict about carry-on limits. One personal item, one bag, and that's it. But here's what most people don't realize. The TSA doesn't care how many bags you carry. That part comes later, at the gate. And that's where the Starbucks trick comes in. Grab a paper bag from a terminal cafe, Starbucks, Pret, or whatever is nearby, and use it to hold your snacks. When you board, it looks like you just picked something up before the flight. No one thinks twice. It doesn't register as a third bag, just as airport food. Inside, it's all your own food. A homemade sandwich, a boxed salad, trail mix, or whatever you prepped ahead of time. No extra bag fees and no side eyes from the gate agent. This one hack has saved travelers from having to stuff snacks into their coat pockets more times than we can count. There's a reason airport snack stands love selling pre-cut fruit in tiny plastic cups for $7 a pop. It's because most people don't realize you can bring your own for free. The TSA fully allows whole, uncut fruit through security. Apples, oranges, bananas, tangerines, no problem. As long as they're not peeled or chopped, they count as solid food and sail right through the scanner. Whole fruit travels well, doesn't require refrigeration, and gives you natural hydration without needing to chug water mid-flight. Just one note if you're flying internationally. Many countries don't allow fruit or fresh food past customs. So either eat it before you land, or be ready to toss it at the border. But for domestic flights, it's one of the simplest wins in air travel. You've got the snacks, you've got the containers. Now don't let your whole plan fall apart at the security line. Here's the final move. Group all your food items together in one clear zip bag or packing cube. When you get to the TSA bins, just pull that one bag out and place it separately, just like you would with a laptop. No digging through your carry-on, no confused looks from the agent, and no delays. This one step makes the whole process smoother. The TSA can scan your snacks in one go, and you won't get flagged for a random hand search because your boiled egg was hiding next to your shampoo. A little organization up front means a faster line, fewer questions, and more time for you to enjoy your real food, while everyone else is waiting for a soggy airport wrap. So, what's going in your bag for your next flight? A frozen smoothie? A gourmet bento box? Or will you keep it simple with an apple and a sneaky stash of peanut butter? Either way, you're the one calling the shots. Ditch that overpriced airport trap. Now you know the real TSA deal. No more starving through flights or eyeing that $12 plastic sandwich. Got your own killer in-flight snack hack? Share it in the comments. We love hearing what you all sneak past Gate 42. If this gave you even one idea, smash that like button so more savvy flyers can see it. For more tips like this on how to fly cheaper, eat smarter, and travel smoother, hit subscribe and ring the bell. There's plenty more coming your way. Until next time, pack sharp, snack sharper, and fly easy.